The Peter Kraljic Matrix was first described in an article, Purchasing Must Become Supply Management, in the Harvard Business Review September-October 1983 edition. Peter Kraljic was for more than 30 years a senior executive at McKinsey & Company in Germany, where he worked with industrial clients in sectors such as chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and automotive. The Kraljic Matrix is used to analyze the purchasing portfolio of a firm and thereby support corresponding decisions and actions regarding purchasing of commodities and products. The matrix consists of two dimensions. These are the complexity of the supply market and the strategic importance of purchasing. First, we review the complexity. By complexity, we mean that supply can be scarce, that there are constantly new technologies coming on the market that can substitute existing technologies. It could be new plastic alloys, which could replace metals in the production. Costs: how difficult it is to produce or how expensive it is to start a new production of the item in question. If the market is a monopoly or oligopoly, and access barriers are high for new entrants, then it may be difficult to obtain the products in demand in the short as well as in the long term. Complexity of the supplier market contains many different elements that must be considered when the matrix is used. Now we shall consider the second of the two dimensions, namely the importance of purchase. The key here is to understand the strategic importance of purchasing for the company. It may concern the percentage share of raw materials in the total costs, how much influence raw material prices have on the profit of the end product, as well as their impact on profitability of the firm. Both dimensions go from low to high. This 2x2 matrix contains 4 categories. These are non-critical items, leverage items, bottleneck items, and strategic items. We shall now review each of the 4 categories. Non-critical items are products that are easy to buy and also have a relatively low impact on the financial results. The quality is standardized. They could be standard products such as screws, nuts, etc. They are products where there are many possible suppliers. Administratively, these purchases take up much of the time in the purchasing department, as there are many of them, and the department often treats each purchase individually to find the best deal. The recommended purchasing strategy is to reduce time and money spent on the purchase of these products by enhancing product standardization and efficient processing. Your firm can do this by decreasing the number of products and an automation of the purchases. Most industries have developed IT systems which can find the best deals on standard products. Leverage items are products that are easy to buy, and they have a high importance in the buyer's economy. They are standard goods with many suppliers available, and it is easy to switch supplier. The recommended purchasing strategy is that the purchasing function continuously negotiate lower prices. This can be done by letting the various suppliers submit a tender for large orders for successive deliveries. The supplier achieves economies of scale in the production, and our firm does not suffer excessive storage costs. Bottleneck items are products that can only be acquired from one supplier or very few suppliers, or their delivery is unstable. This may be due to suppliers located in areas of political unrest, or it is technically difficult to manufacture the product. The product or products have a relatively low impact on the financial results of your firm. It is often difficult to change supplier as the product is a special item. Purchasing strategy must minimize the risks related to buying the product. Therefore, it is recommended to sign contracts on a long-term basis with the individual suppliers. Additionally, the purchaser can keep extra stocks. If the complexity of the supply market is very high, the buyer can look for potential suppliers that can deliver an alternative product from a market that are less complex, which can replace the bottleneck item. Strategic items are products which can be acquired only from one supplier or very few suppliers. The product also has a high importance in the buyer's economy. It often involves specialized products where it is difficult to change supplier and the products are crucial for the process or the product of the buyer. The company is highly dependent on the product and consequently the supplier that delivers it. The recommended purchasing strategy is to form a partnership between us as company and the supplier. The close partnership can be achieved by co-creation of the product with the supplier, preferably with as much openness as possible, so our supplier does not exploit our vulnerabilities. We cannot obtain the product from other suppliers, and it is crucial for our financial performance. We shall now consider an example using the model. It is the automotive industry. The car manufacturer buys a lot of standard bolts to be used in production. These are clearly non-critical items. The economic importance is low, and there are many possible suppliers of the product. We must reduce time and money spent on these products by enhancing product standardization and efficient processing of purchase. The manufacturer buys car bodies of aluminium. They are a big part of the value of the car. Many suppliers can manufacture them. It is a volume item as it represents a high percentage of the profit of the buyer, and there are many suppliers available. We need to ensure as low a price as possible and preferably no stock. Therefore, we let our different suppliers bid on large orders for delivery following the just-in-time principle. The car includes a theft protection system with GPS, which contains rare raw materials. It represents a very small value of the system, and there are few providers of rare raw materials, and their supplies are unstable. The rare raw materials are a bottleneck item. Suppliers' delivery is unreliable, and the rare raw materials have a relative low impact on the financial results. We will therefore try to tie the selected suppliers up with contracts and, as an extra security, keep stocks. We have installed a high-tech windshield in our cars, which enables the driver to see at night. The product represents a great value of the car. It is the main selling point for the car. There is currently only one supplier of the technology. it is clearly a strategic item. We must develop the technology in partnership with the supplier. We need a cooperation so closely between us and the supplier that we can't do without each other. Now let us consider a criticism of the model. It is not clear which elements to include in the complexity of the supplier market and the relative importance between them. The same applies to the importance of purchasing. It is not defined whether the model should be used at the product group level or down to the individual product. It is not clear whether the model should be used on department or company level. Each company has to decide this for themselves. It is not clear how to differentiate precisely between low and high, and this applies to both dimensions. We must again clarify this ourselves. The grading of products in each category can change over time. The model appears static. The world is dynamic. Power relations between us, as a company, and our suppliers are not a subject in the model. The model has a clear strength. In a relatively simple manner, the model achieves a result that gives us a useful procurement strategy.